I'd like to have Dr. Khaled Almazroui come up to discuss and show a video on Abu Dhabi shipbuilding. Doctor.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning, everybody. I would like to thank the organizer for giving me the opportunity to highlight the roles that ADSP plays as a major strategic partner to our forces, and especially the Navy as well as the Coast Guard and the Presidential Guard of the United Arab Emirates, or we can call it CISPA. Over the presentation, let me just make sure, so I turn on the, okay. I'm going to talk about the role of the sea in the region history, then talk about the naval operations require industrial solutions or supports, give you some background about ADSP ownership as well as overview the capabilities of ADSP. Then we're going to talk about the 4 segments that ADSP has adopted lately and which is part of its own strategy. We're going to talk about the future plan and the way ahead for ADSP to support its strategic partner. Then talk about the current operations, future challenges that ADSP is trying to pass and overcome, and the importance of working with international strategic partners. Now, all of us know that the United Arab Emirates, as well as the other GCC countries, before the discovery of the oil, the sea was the major resource of income for us, where fishing, diving, and peril diving, as I said, all of that one created a source of income and revenue for the all GCC. If we just look at the map of the Gulf region, Arabian Gulf region, we can realize all the countries of the GCC are located on the ocean side, and therefore more than 80 million people live over or close to the sea. And this is how it becomes very important, the role that the sea plays in the lives of the GCC people. That one, of course, has been also enjoyed by previous generation, than due to the technology and political reasons, as well as keeping the peace in this very strategic Gulf. Now, when we say strategic, it's not only to the UAE or to the GCC country, but also international-wise. And this is why it became very important and mandatory to have all those countries to upgrade their capabilities in terms of naval as well as Coast Guard services. So naval operations require industrial solutions. And therefore, having the GCC countries, navies, as well as other international countries who are allocated and their task to keep peace in this region, as I said, it has majority of the oil export worldwide, it became very mandatory that their capabilities, their operations have to be ready, and it will not be ready without having shipyards that are capable to provide the services, the solutions they do have. They have very complex tasks. They have variety of ships, different sizes, different requirements, different combat system, and therefore it's very important to have a company that can provide. Now, there are many companies here, but when we come to ADSP, we find it is the only company that has such technology, capability, and I would like to thank our leadership for such a long vision that they have to establish this company in 1995. Because of that one, we will see later on the capability of ADSP and how ADSP plays a major role to satisfy the needs and the readiness of our clients in the UAE. So let me give you some background about Abu Dhabi shipbuilding. as I said, in order to support the Regional Maritime Organization, ADSP was established in 1995. Its operation started in 1996, a year later. And the initial reason for the establishment or focus was to maintain the ships of our Navy. Later on, as I have said, due to the vision of our leadership, this company became a manufacturer, a shipbuilder of very complicated ships like Bainuna, we do have right now, and Granada, which I'm going to talk later on. Of course, the capabilities I have said has grown, enhanced, and based on that one, we became very strategic, not only to the Navy, but also tried to provide facility to commercial ships as well. We do have experience in aluminum, steel, as well as composite material. So, just to give you some background and highlight about Abu Dhabi Shipbuilding, it's a public joint stock company and listed in ADX. We're about 10% owned by Abu Dhabi government, 40% owned by Mubadala, and the other 50% owned by 6,000 shareholders from UAE as well as outside of UAE. So due to its advanced and modern facilities as a result of investing, we did invest hundreds of millions of dollars in this company just to increase its capability, which we are proud of it, to have such services and assets that are available in the UAE, and which is the only shipyard which such capabilities is available in the Gulf region. Just to give you a picture, and I do regret this is not updated picture, but if we take a picture now, or aerial picture of ADSP, we'll be lucky if we have 1 square meter empty, because it's fully occupied for services by naval as well as commercial ships. And this is the importance. Now, actually, we are facing problems because of limitation of space, because of the demand of our clients. We are trying to provide facilities somewhere else, which I'm going to talk later on. So, 6 years ago or 7 years ago in 2012, the board of directors has met and decided to adapt a new strategy in order for this company to have or to meet the requirements of our clients. And when I say about the clients, I'm not talking about only UAE, but as well as the GCC countries. And therefore, they came with 5 years as well as 10 years. 5 years until 2017 and the 10 years until 2022. And that one is that the company should concentrate only on 4 segments, which I'm going to talk about later on. Of course, Emiratization, it became the major or the priority of ADSP board of directors as well as the management. Why? Because we need to enhance the Emiratization, we need to enhance their capability, and this is exactly where Abu Dhabi stands and plays a major role. Another thing we did also as a board of director and management, tried to enhance and develop the services sector, where we find out it's a major, not only as a business-wise for revenue, but also it's a requirement for our clients. And I'm going to talk about this one later on. So what's the future plan? What we have decided, we should continue on major sophisticated naval shipbuilding programs by having make or by review, and we redefine the role of the importance of ADSP. So what we have decided for the next years, that ADSP will be a value added to the UAE, and we're going to act as prime contractor, program management, major equipment procurement, weapons hardware installation, test and trials, acceptance procedures. So those are the tasks that will be. In another word, instead of building and creating just platforms here, we find there will be no real transfer of knowledge, neither real transfer of technology. So what we have decided, the platforms will be built somewhere else, the combat system management integration, installation will be done by Abu Dhabi Shipbuilding in Abu Dhabi. And that's exactly where we try to have or to enhance the capabilities and transfer the technology as well as the knowledge from our partners to Abu Dhabi Shipbuilding. We have done a great job. Just a few minutes before my arrival here, we had a meeting and we are trying to have acquisition of 6 UAE talents who are specialized in combat system. And this is exactly where we are trying to have as a priority for us in Abu Dhabi Shipbuilding. So concentration will be in combat system as well as services. Talking about the 4 segments just mentioned earlier, we have the naval shipbuilding that we're going to concentrate on it. All the ships, more than 40, will be built outside, either with other partners or with other shipyards. We might have acquisition later on. Or, as I said, even shipyards with our partners here in the UAE, outside of UAE. Of course, priority will be given to UAE shipyards. Small boats, we do have a composite and small boat construction unit. Proud to say that we have exported outside of the MENA region. And now we have been shortlisted as 2 out of maybe 10 companies who submitted their proposal to build 150 boats in one of the countries. We have imported to the GCC, we have imported outside of the UAE, and full concentration will be given to this business unit also. Services. When you talk about business-wise, services plays a major role in revenue generation. I didn't say net profit, but I said revenue generation. But at the same time, it does help also our navies, our clients. And this is why I would like to thank our leader, our GGQ here, for giving the trust to ADSP and to play a major role to provide services. We did provide services through a program called ISS 1 last year, and now we are in discussion to talk about other programs for the coming years. Combat management system, this is exactly where we have to build our capabilities. And this is why where we need to attract UAE locals to work in ADSP. Working in shipbuilding, by the way, it's not attractive environment for many young men and graduates. But what we have tried to adapt those people who have training or requirements in their colleges, adapt them to come and coordinate things through the colleges and the universities in UAE, and try to accommodate them in Abu Dhabi Shipbuilding. And this is exactly what we have achieved for the last few years. So we do have a program that we are working on it right now. The 4 segments I talked to you before or earlier is the complex warship and boat control, boats or patrol boats. Of course, Bainouna and Granada are the flagship assets of UAE or for Abu Dhabi Shipbuilding. We have delivered already 3 Bainouna, and the 4th one will be delivered by April this year. Number 5 and 6 will be delivered in 2016. Talking about Bainouna, having ADSP as the first program to build, it was honest, very big challenge for ADSP. But thanks to God, with the help, with the partners, and of course, the client, we have achieved that one. And for your information, ship number 4, Bainouna, is built from scratch at ADSP. Number 1 was built in France. The 2nd and the 3rd, they were in components assembled at ADSP, but the 4th, 5th, and 6th totally built at ADSP. And the program manager for 4, 5, 6 is an ex-Navy, and he is a UAE local. And this is exactly where we said we try to build the capabilities of the nationals in the UAE. Small boat construction, as I have said earlier, we have exported outside of the UAE, and proudly also to say that we have finished and delivered 34 boats, 16 meters, to our CISPA. And by the way, for the naval shipbuilding, we delivered 24 boats another. This is again accomplishment of Abu Dhabi shipbuilding. Services. Now, when we talk about services, of course, priority is given to our Navy and to other GCC, which we have already approached them, to provide also TLCM, which I'm going to talk about it later on. So we try to provide and satisfy the needs and the readiness of our clients in terms of commercial as well as military. We have also, as I said before, we tried to, and we did provide ISIS 1, and now we are working with our client for ISIS 2. Later stage will be called through life capability management. Combat system. This is exactly where I mentioned 2 times before, where we need to have our capability to be enhanced and developed. So we have the combat system installation, we do have the setting to work, integration, and of course, test and trials. All that one done by our team, of course, in association with other partners. We have already delivered more than 27 boats or ships, different sizes, which has the combat system capabilities. Now, to offer or to have more attention and concentration and enhance the capability of combat system, what we have decided, all the projects after Baynuna and Granada will be given to a company owned fully 100% by ADSP called Frontiers. So we established this company only for the combat system. It will not be designated or work with one partner. It's going to be open with different partner or different partnerships based on the client requirements. And this is exactly where we have full concentration to enhance the capability of the combat system. So, where is ADSB going? And how can we always keep in alignment with our clients? And of course, when I say the client, especially the UAE Armed Forces, and in general also the GCC. Future or services is the future vision of ADSP. And this is how we look at it. This company as manufacturer or shipbuilder for naval projects, it's excellent. It's asset, strategic partner, perfect. But when you talk in terms of business-wise, it's a little bit, it takes time. We all know, thanks to UAE, as I have talked to many shipbuilders and executives, UAE is one of the best to make decision process from discussion until signing the contract, while in other countries take forever to sign a contract. And therefore, even though we do have this advantage and trust between the GHQ as well as the company, we need to enhance the services. We need to concentrate more on services. And this is why we have put in our mind that services should be concentrated more, should be developed more, and based on that one, it's not only for the Navy, of course, or the client, military client, but also the same as commercial. We do have also commercial clients we are working. And what we did enhance the commercial department to accommodate all the businesses that, potential businesses, commercially or commercial as well as military one. Another thing is the building the local capabilities in different technical aspects, especially by Emirati. For us, the Emiratization is top priority in our agenda. We need this company in 4 years to be managed by minimum of 30 to 40% of UAE. And this is why we have a direct contact and communication with the Navy, with CISPA and Presidential Guard whenever we feel that there are capabilities, calipers, who resign, retire for some reason. Abu Dhabi Shipbuilding will be ready to welcome them, interview them, of course, take the best of them, and they will be the assets for this company in the future. We have been doing this work, and I'm proud that in my management, many of the ex-Navy who have been working in this company, and one of them is the program manager for Bainuna. Another thing, which is the small boat construction, and that's the composite as well as the other materials. I mentioned earlier, we have exported outside of the MENA region, and now we are thinking also, we do have some contracts, as I said before, for 150 boats, and another place also 100 boats, and therefore we try to concentrate on this one because we believe it does help. It doesn't help only commercially, but it does help also the coast guards, the needs, because this is very niche market. It's very sophisticated, equipment and technology we have already developed at ADSP. So somebody might ask, okay, since the company has established, what are the accomplishments? What have you achieved? What have you done to your partners? I always call my clients or our clients as partners because without them, we will not exist. And what we have done, we have achieved, we built a total of 167 ships, boats, different sizes, in and outside of the UAE. For the midlife retrofits, we have accomplished 42. And for the navigation retrofits, 431. And in terms of corrective maintenance repairs, 18,300. So that keeps our synchro-lift, our equipment, very busy. Keep in mind right now, we are upgrading the system, which we're going to talk about it later on. Number of dry dockings, 11,000. And this is exactly where it does show the importance of having such an asset in the United Arab Emirates to serve its partners. Do we have challenges? Of course. The navies, CISPA, and all the forces, they do depend on a company that needs to provide the services. And now the trend that the navies or the forces should not take care of their services. You give it, delegate that one, that authority, that homework, or that business to, I can call it a semi-government company. And this is exactly when we discussed in 1995, the company was established for the purpose of providing services to our Navy. And this is exactly what we are planning right now when I said we need to concentrate on services. So services through TLCM will be the major player for us, and again, it's top of our priority. So we have been working with partners for the few months to have a TLCM through life capability, and today we will sign MOU with one of those partners to provide services to our client. Now, this is going to be the first step. Actually, this is the second, because the first step was ISS 1. Second step will be the ISS 2, or we can call it TLCM, and this will be the first step for a long, I call it a long journey, to provide TLCM to our, not only our Navy or our armed forces, but also to the GCC. We have been already communicating with other GCC countries in order to provide services, and we are in serious discussion with them. Of course, we cannot provide, I'm not saying when we cannot provide services directly or by ourselves. It's better to have it or enhanced by having a partner. And that's exactly when we have to have a partner who have been doing this one to their navies for the last few years. And that's exactly where we need to transfer the technology, where we need to transfer the knowledge and enhance our capability in order to satisfy our clients or our partners. So we are in serious discussion with that one, and hopefully in a few months, the company will be able to provide full through-life capability management to our partner in the United Arab Emirates as well as the GCC. Is it important to work with partners? These days, any company will fail if they work alone. I was in Seattle a few months ago visiting Boeing aircraft factory. So I saw a drawing of the Airbus Boeing Dreamliner 787, 70% of the components of that aircraft made outside of USA and outside of Boeing even. And this is exactly reality. So we have to work with partners. Now, sometimes we do select the partners because our job is to work as even a consultant to our clients and to our partners and say, this is the best equipment, that's not recommended best. But sometimes also the clients have their strategic reasons, they have their strategic, decisions, and based on that one, we work with them together. So in order to achieve our objectives and meeting the needs of our evolving navies, we have to work with different partners, and those are some of the partners. I do regret if some of them or some of the names are not appearing in the list. So Abu Dhabi Shipbuilding will be a pleasure, and it will be always an honor to explore new opportunities for partnerships to satisfy the request and the satisfaction of our partners.